The family of the late Kaylee Goncalves now suing Washington State University, the school where killer Bryan Kohberger studied criminology as a PhD student. They want to know about Kohberger's past behaviors towards some people at the university, some of which included stalking women and being rude to students as a teaching assistant. Washington State University is only about 7 miles away from the University of Idaho, and that is where, of course, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Cornoto, and Ethan Chapin were stabbed to death inside of their off-campus home just a little more than 3 years ago. Goncalves turned the podium at Kohberger's sentencing and spoke directly to the killer.
The world's watching because of the kids, not because of you. Nobody cares about you. You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered. In time, you will be nothing but 2 initials forgotten to the wind. No visitors, nothing more than initials on an otherwise unmarked tombstone. From this moment, we will forget you. We want to all leave in closing. One last thing. You picked the wrong family, and we're laughing at you on your trip to the pen. That will be today or tomorrow.
Of course, that was Steve Goncalves, Kaylee's father. Bryan Kohberger serving 4 consecutive life sentences, and he owes money and fines and restitution to the victims' families. So what does the Goncalves family hope to achieve with their lawsuit? Let's talk about it with our legal analyst guests, David Bruno and Joe Tamburino, with us. David, your thoughts on the filing of this suit and what it hopes to achieve?
When I first heard about this, I was like, oh, how can that be stretched to Washington State? Then I started to read the documents that we recently got released after. And Court TV has a great piece on this too, about the complaints that Washington State got from, there's 13 complaints there from professors and students about his behavior and concerning behavior. So there is a leg to stand on here moving forward. And if they can get past the motion to dismiss, the early motions that defendants typically file, they're going to be able to get information through discovery, interrogatories, depositions, notice to producers. They may get some answers that we never got from the prosecution because of the plea deal that cut the death penalty off the table, which I think we're all critical of still.
Definitely, David. The school, we know, did fire Kohberger for some behavioral problems when he was a teaching assistant. Joe, your thoughts on whether this lawsuit will have legs?
I think it could have legs. I mean, in any lawsuit, it's basically you need this. First, you need notice so that the person who's the defendant in the case, the person who you're suing, was on notice that something is wrong, say. Then you need a failure to act, that they didn't act on this. And next, you need that it's all based on negligence. So through discovery, as David mentioned, if you can show that the university was on notice that this guy has violent tendencies, hates women, some type of, violent problems, and the university failed to act based on their negligence, yes, it could have legs. The big thing is going to be the summary judgment motion. I mean, I think the school is going to do 2 motions. One is they'll make a motion to dismiss the complaint just like that. I think that'll fail. But then they'll go through a discovery process, and then they'll try to do a summary judgment motion, meaning that the defendant is going to say, look, regardless of what the discovery shows, there's no claim here, Judge. So if it makes it past summary judgment, yes, this definitely has legs.
I appreciate that analysis, Joe. So thinking about Kohberger, I think a lot of us think, were there red flags that might have been missed? I think we all say, hindsight's 20/20, right? But is there something just that may be a bit satisfying about just kind of looking back and seeing, was there anything that was missed with him that could have been a preventative factor here? David, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. I mean, he was a PhD student studying there. He was a teacher's assistant as well. I mean, he had responsibility and authority within those circles as well. So that makes it even more puzzling, the sheer violence that was used and the studying of this. We have to look back on this. We have to learn from this. We have to look at all of these curriculums and all these students. And I think every single one of the curriculums all across the country should at least have some awareness to the fact that it may be someone trying to learn criminology for the wrong reasons.
I appreciate it, David. Apparently, there was even a tally board in a student office that was being used to track Kohberger's discriminatory comments. And some female students avoided being alone with him. So they're tracking, you know, the things he's saying and all that. It tells me he was on people's radars. Joe, final thoughts on this and whether we'll learn more than we do right now.
Well, what you just said is the crucial point, which is on the radar, but on the radar for what? If this was some type of sexual discrimination case or something like that, yes, I would say right now it's got excellent legs, because you got all these complaints about how Kohberger, you know, may have made some sexist or racial comments. So yes, with something like that. But was it on the radar for homicide, for murder, for use of a dangerous weapon? That's going to be the crucial issue. So, I mean, I think it's important for the victims to do this suit. I can totally understand why, but I do think it's going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah, appreciate it, Joe. We, of course, as always, send every good wish to the Goncalves family and all of the families of those victims of this atrocious conduct. And we'll keep watching it as the suit progresses.